Welcome to City on a Hill Gaming, a tabletop RPG actual play podcast. To find out more, download episodes wherever you get podcasts, or visit us online at cityonahillgaming.com, or by sending us an email at cityonahillgaming@gmail.com. You can also support us on patreon.com/cityonahillgaming. We hope you enjoy our show.
Cool. All right. The river journey is fairly uneventful, thankfully. While you are on that journey, a couple of questions for you about Delta City. Let's talk about some aesthetics. Well, we've actually kind of talked about aesthetics already. Let's just move on. I think that's fine. We can fill that in later.
I will say we can probably hear the music miles away.
I don't know about miles, but probably at
think about it, like
good way.
Quiet. You're on the river. If the river's not too choppy and making a lot of noise itself, it'll bounce the sound up to you. It's going to be soft, but you'll be able to pick it up.
The other thing to note, though, is there's a fair amount of river traffic. This is a busy port. There's no walls on Delta City. It just sort of trails off, gets thinner at the edges. So as you get closer, there's more to the city, quote unquote. What you're really getting to is a more and more populated part of the city until it sort of transitions from a place where there are people to a place where there's a lot of people to, I guess we're in the city now.
Yeah.
Subtle city.
Yeah. You know, it's like driving into a big city or something. It's like, it just keeps getting more and more until it's
the
here.
Buildings just keep getting closer and closer together.
Yeah.
And taller and taller.
The suburbs get denser and denser. And while these aren't quite suburbs, there's more villages, more and more together, and it just keeps getting bigger until you're there. For common animal folk, you're going to have access to basically any animal you can imagine. But there are people who are from around here, who live here. Do we have maybe slightly more common animals, just in case we want to lean on those?
Otters.
You read my mind.
Perfect.
Great. Love it. Big fan.
Pelicans?
Yeah, I was going to say some
kind of bird like that, yeah.
I love pelicans.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Pelicans are good.
Pelicans
flamingos
or cranes
too,
I was going to say,
my brain said egrets, but
Okay. Anything that isn't a bird? Just for
no.
I was going to say
Bird City.
Not for animal folk, but for like how the Beatles were in the farm town, maybe like working animals like crawdads.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, I like that.
Giant crawdads. Those are just lobsters.
The other thing I'm going to suggest maybe on the rivers, those
instead of horses, crawdads.
Yeah, those water strider insects.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
I like that.
Big versions of that.
That's what pulls the boats up and down the river.
That's not terrifying at all to think about.
Well, if that doesn't terrify you, my suggestion will. Silverfish, the size of ponies.
Ugh.
Can we say no?
Can we not?
Like to say
I'm trying to decide if that actually hits like an uncomfortable spot for me. Actually,
I don't want to just like.
I watched Daniel's reaction.
Yeah, we're gonna no, but that one.
Can we know but that one?
Somebody has tapped the X card. I got it.
Ryan.
The big crawfish and stuff is fine. That's whatever. But
yeah.
What I will suggest for the forgotten spirits of this place, wharf roaches.
Don't know what that is. Hold on.
I am going to assume they're cute, and I'm not going to Google it.
I only know them because I play Animal Crossing.
Actually, if you get the right one, they're kind of cute. I'm down.
Okay.
I actually have a less creepy suggestion that's totally perfect for this kind of an environment. Dragonflies.
Done.
I like
dragonflies. Yep. Always good.
We can go with amphibians and have like salamander, newt.
Yeah, there we go.
I actually have a specific thing that they're used for because they're bigger and they can hover and stuff like that. They're used a lot by messengers and courier services.
Okay.
Daniel,
we don't have
a wharf roach is what if a crawfish was also a roach?
I'm fine.
A cockroach with pincers.
Yeah.
I'm fine not Googling that.
It's not bad. They're kind of cute, actually, if you get the right glowy ones.
It's also a little bit like a roly-poly.
A little. Mm-hmm.
Better.
Bit. Yeah. Let me ask you this. What is your first impression? Not just the first thing you see, but like your first emotional impression.
I don't like it.
Get off at Delta City.
Rhea does not spend a lot of time in, air quotes for the audience, the big city, because, firelight, guide, hard to see lights at night, yada yada.
You spend your time pointing people at the big city and then going on your way. And
stopping 2 miles outside, y'all can find it the rest of the way yourself. You'll be fine.
Follow the noise.
Yeah, it's over there.
Oh, I was going to follow the smells.
That's also an option. But I'm going to pretend that those smells are food and therefore good.
You got about a 50-50 shot in a port town on whether or not you're smelling low tide or street food.
And
or both.
Yeah,
I'll take that. That's fine.
I was going to say, you might not be able to tell which one it is right away.
Also true.
Those odds are fine.
I will say, once Archibald gets into this city, he's going to just light up in a way that you guys have. He's a fairly cheerful guy, but totally in his element. We'll probably actually grab Pebble and be like, "You're coming with me. I have all kinds of fascinating things a young whippersnapper like you should see." And just one cultural site after another, specialty trading post, he is just going to run the poor little penguin absolutely to exhaustion.
Yeah, these are called beignets. These are called po' boys. This is a coffee.
Yeah. I had beignets for the first time last week. They're quite good.
These beads are made out of the sea glass that they pull out of the sand over there. And then this thing over here, this musical instrument, this is unique to this city. And it's going to be that every 5 minutes until Pebble's eyes are spinning, basically.
To answer your question for Marion, he is, because in a town like this, which I'm mentally kind of basing on, is very busy and very relaxed at the same time. And Marion kind of likes that tension of there's time in this city to relax and there's time to take it easy. And there's also an energy of going and doing stuff. So it's kind of this cool vibe. Marion's just gonna he's gonna spend at least 5 minutes just closing his eyes and just taking in all of the all of the other senses happening, the sounds and the music and the laughter and the cheering and the hustle and bustle and the wide variety of smells. But he's just going to spend 5 minutes just acclimating and absorbing it and then go about.
Gotcha. Greg, question for you about Pebble. What part of this city has Pebble seen in his dreams?
Definitely the port, but on fire.
Darkest character in show history. Yep. Got there.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, my. Okay.
Yeah, y'all forgot my character it doesn't have a friendly backstory.
I definitely have been sitting on, right, Pebble has prophetic dreams.
Dark prophetic dreams. Dark prophetic dreams.
Oh, wait, yes, but those are the ones you tell people about. You don't tell them about the bloody war that you
I don't tell them about the fire. I say, I know this port. I recognize it. I don't tell them I've seen it on fire and, all the screaming, but that's beside the point. They don't need to know that.
That's all right. Just, you know what? Just lock it into your mind vice. Just clamp it down, and then it'll never escape, and it'll never get out.
Some people have a mind palace. You have a mind prison. It's fine.
Kids, don't take this advice. This is bad advice.
No, absolutely don't. This is true.
Extremely bad. Kids, if you're listening, my kids in particular don't do this.
No. Tell people if something's bothering you.
You just bottle it up, and then it'll never escape. And nothing bad will ever happen.
That's not true.
Yeah, for those that don't understand sarcasm properly, the opposite of what Daniel is saying is what will happen. They come out in ways
they're
that
my
they
kids.
do not
I know they understand sarcasm.
They know.
Not listen to
It's a survival
Daniel.
trait in our household. All right. Very good. So, let's see. We've talked about Archibald. We've talked about Pebble. We've talked about Marion, and we've talked about Bryan. Good. So let me ask you, you've come to this particular place. What is the name of the place where you finally settle in for, your residence while you're here? Whether it be a tavern
kind of place where it has a name.
Something similar. Well, maybe it is. Maybe it's just a description. Not everything has a name. It could just be, it's the one run by so-and-so on this street.
The something
That's also...
mud. I need an adjective. I'll let you guys pick the adjective. The something mud crab.
Singing.
There you go.
Singing
city.
mud crab. Yeah, that's
what I was thinking.
Okay.
Can we go with singing mud bug?
That's fine.
So there's a restaurant near me. It's a seafood restaurant. It's actually a lot of cake, and it's called the Laughing Crab.
Nice.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Singing mud bug.
So,
Mud bug.
when you enter the Singing Mud Crab, there is the ever-present sort of mix of music that you hear, but a little louder. The sort of generic nature of hospitality in the Haith runs into a certain amount of conflict here, because everybody wants to say, yeah, you can stay here, but also these are businesses that people open for the purpose of having people stay. And I'm going to suggest that we resolve that by saying that room and board is free, right? But there's a lot of other things that you have the opportunity to pay for, entertainment, upgrades, things like that. Anybody can find a place to sleep by a fire. Like, if you don't have anything, it's okay to go in and sleep by the fire. Make sure you have a roof over your head. Get a loaf of bread. That there's a fundamental baseline of hospitality that everybody offers, no matter what.
Pebble, don't eat anything out of the mini fridge.
But yes, if you want your own room, that costs something. If you want a nicer meal, that costs something. A private dining room, that costs something. These sorts of little upgrades here and there.
Kind of getting a little bit of master of the house from feeling.
Keeper of the trunk,
forever.
Ready with a handshake and an open palm.
A little bit, but there is that baseline level of everybody's welcome. But if you want service, that's where the money is made. It's not money grubbing, but it's like, hey, this is what we do.
Yeah.
That said, if you wanted to stay in somebody else's house, you could probably find that as well, just as you've been doing. But these places exist for that purpose.
I mean, Marion's a simple kind of guy, but also we've done a lot of sleeping on floors.
And barns.
And
barges.
And barges. Dirt.
Places that have smells.
It would be nice to smell
Not
bed.
those smells. Yes.
And bath? Bath would be nice.
Things that have in fact been washed.
And
like
none
you.
of us are dogs, so
like
we
us
don't
being
have to
washed.
deal with the wet dog smell.
That's right.
Also this.
Absolutely. I'm not going to say, how much money you guys have, something like that. Whatever you want to describe. Obviously, that's how it goes. One thing you do note, however, is that there is somebody dancing to the music when you go in. A large or a.
I want to throw one thing in real quickly here.
Yeah, shoot, go for it.
Archibald will probably view making sure that the rest of the group is comfortable as his actual responsibility as kind of the trader here. So he will probably find some place that's not ostentatious, it's quiet and is nice and is run by kind of low-key trustworthy people. So you can just kind of take it down a notch from the hecticness of the city and exhale a little bit and recharge and then go back out and have another busy day the next day.
I like that. I will also say the proprietors of this place recognize, Archibald's a trader. They're going to be buying and selling. They ask you to do that buying and selling basically here rather than in the market.
I'll do you one better.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
And they want you to do it basically in there where you encourage people to buy drinks and haggle and that sort of stuff. This is your, comfort and amenities offered at a price. Basically, it's going to keep you busy somewhat during the day. You can have a token if you refuse.
No, I like this. And the way that I was going to do you one better is I was going to say this is an arrangement that he's had for a while with these same people.
Okay.
So he does this when he comes here.
Gotcha. Okay. So see, that's not a temptation then. So, okay. That's fine. Fair enough. All righty. Cool. The only other thing I'll add then is that this particular tavern, the Singing Mud Crab, does have a heron dancing to the music.
I had to place heron in my head first, right? Big bird.
Large water bird, not
water bird.
Big
Yeah.
bird's yellow
bird.
and
Big bird's
not
okay.
big bird, but big bird.
Yes.
Big bird.
So I have to ask you, two of you know this person. This is my character. So we're going to do the whole ask a question to the left and right, but who wants to know Sunrise, aka Sunny?
I was going to point, but that doesn't do any good because we're just all looking at Zoom. I think Greg. I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting to see who Pebble knows.
And why Pebble knows.
And more importantly, why Pebble knows.
That's actually what I was going to say is, yes, Pebble knows Sunrise, but I don't think Sunrise would know Pebble.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
And that may not work. All right.
Oh, no. I've decided...
Okay, actually, no, that does work. Greg?
Uh-huh.
Why won't Pebble ever dance with Sunny?
Because Pebble knows that Sunny's last time dancing will be with Pebble, just not where.
So dark.
It's not just our darkest character, it's our darkest actual play. Oh my goodness.
With the cute little penguin.
It's a good thing the characters are cute, because this crap's getting heavy.
Maybe Sunny just retires.
It's what we're going with.
That's very possible. We'll
I don't
have
care
to play
what
and
happens.
find out.
I know what the headcanon is.
Dances, I didn't say why it was the last dance.
Oh no.
Maybe she retires champion.
Yeah. But yeah.
Sorry.
Hey,
maybe they retire champion.
Thank you for that, Daniel. Retire champion.
Yes, I do like the idea of like just retires undisputed champion.
You only won one game. Dancing. Doesn't matter. Retire champion.
That's right.
Gotta go out while you're
Who
ahead.
else knows Sunny?
Marion knows Sunny.
Okay. When was the last time we stayed up all night to watch the sunrise?
Oh, would have been 3 or 4 seasons ago now. Don't make it out this way very often. 3 or 4 years ago, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Was it just when, or describe the time?
What was the circumstance, I think is what they're really asking about.
Well, I would say the circumstance was Marion initially had seen Sunny dancing and felt that urge sometimes that Marion gets to linger around a place because he knows he's going to be needed. And Sunny was kind of in a bad way, sad, kind of lonely, but it had been, nightlife, you end up staying out late till 3 or 4 anyway. So Marion was just out being a good neighbor, being a good friend, just being a good listener. Talked to Sunny about how they were feeling and what they were dealing with, and they were sad because they were just lonely and just needed a friend. And we just ended up talking for a couple hours, and the sun came out during the time, and it hit the amber glass just right, and just like a field of tiny sparkling fires all along the rooftops.
So this was actually in Delta City.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. No, I like that. I can make that work.
I was just going to say the cicada brood came out.
I mean, that would have been fine.
It makes them sound like a street
No,
gang.
yours is much better.
The cicada brood
makes them sound like a street gang.
Instead of snapping, they just scream for hours.
I saw I think it was a Facebook short or something where like a woman comes downstairs in the morning. She's like, man, the cascada was so loud this morning. And her housemate's like, cicada, no cascada. And she opens the door and it's cascada blaring one of their club hits.
Nice.
But outside, I'm like, ugh.
I'm sad.
So,
I haven't heard any of the cicadas yet this year.
I haven't either.
Oh, we have, but we're where we are. We get them and frogs and everything else. So
I love cicadas. I find
they're
them
great.
comforting.
So you all walk in, and there's a moment I think where Sunny catches Marion's eye, and you all probably have seen Sunny dancing. It's been a rather desultory, just getting by kind of dance. Once Sunny recognizes Marion, there's a certain fire that comes back into their steps. There's more energy, more passion in it. People start paying more attention to the dancing that's happening. And the music sort of picks up a little bit in response. Just the whole energy level goes up a bit.
Is the music live?
Oh yeah.
Oh, in a place like this, always.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose it's certainly possible there's some sort of recording technology, but
oh yeah, didn't even think of that.
Nah, pass.
Yeah. Now that said, it can be as simple or as complex as you want, right? It can be a guy on a hand drum, it can be a full band, it can be whatever, right? So you tell me. You tell everyone.
I like guy with a hand drum, actually.
That's fair.
Just like one bro holding it down.
Yeah.
I'm here for that.
Just holding down the fort.
You respect
all
that.
Right. Very good. You all are going to settle in then. Some discussion. And then probably rest, I imagine. Is it what time of day is it?
I mean, I figure evening probably by the time we got there.
Yeah. Sounds good. Then we can, I suppose, just say you all find, get room and board, do some negotiations, and get to wake up the next day in Delta City. When Marion is ready, Sonny would certainly like to come and find him and talk with him. But there is plenty of other stuff to do here. Peter, I imagine Archibald has a lot of business to do.
Oh, yeah. He's going to definitely try and get Pebble some good cultural exposure while they're in a place where there is so much of it and it is so high quality. That's another thing that he's going to kind of view basically as a responsibility of his. No, I know, what all of the stuff is. I've been through the city many times. This young kid needs to see these different kinds of music, these different kinds of art, needs to sample this food. He's got a whole itinerary and he's just going to pull Pebble along. So
awesome.
It's you have a whole bunch of awesome life experiences and I'm going to make sure you get every single one.
Right. So one thing I have not mentioned, we have Delta City in all of its glory, but there's something else going on.
Uh-oh.
It's festival season.
Oh, you said we were going to change seasons. That's right.
In between each season, there's a festival to celebrate leaving one season behind, starting a new one. And the main festival that we see celebrated throughout the Heath as Leap ends and Bright begins is the Sun Parade. It's a holiday of cheer and merriment. This is also when your characters get to advance.
Oh.
So when there is a season, during that season, at some point, what you'll do is give us some sort of scene and just play, if at all possible, play into this. And at some point during this session, and we'll do this probably next session here.
Oh, okay.
You then choose a new move, one of your advancements. Okay. And just because we've been talking about Sonny here, for example, this can be learn a new dance, realize you're good at being something you worried you weren't. A move here that get a token whenever you dance for no other reason than for your own love of dancing. Spend a token to offer to dance a dance with someone else that reminds them of who they are and breathes life back into their heart. Take an unused playbook and add as much as you want from that playbook to yours.
That's interesting.
Multi-classing.
Yes. The last advancement is the road, at least on mine, the road calls you along a different path than everyone else, and you must travel your own way, pick up a new playbook, and make a new character.
Ooh.
Oh, I love that.
So the advancement is actually
ultimately is the end of your character, which is
it
a very
allows you
common
to
PBTA thing.
I was gonna say set a character down and
but you can choose that at any point. If you're done with the character, just be like, okay,
sure.
You know what? I think Sonny's hit the end of their journey, or at least this story with them. Well, let's do something else, right?
And then they can dance with Pebble.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's what it is, right? They dance with Pebble. They go on a different way. Something happens, right?
Retired champion.
Any of this sort of stuff. And of course, there's all the usual other stuff that, this particular character can do, that sort of thing. So at some point during this next session, because we're getting close to the end of this one, I'd like each of you to describe some way in which you get this. And what we're also going to do is basically go round robin and say, who do you want to have a scene with? Okay. And just have that happen. But that said, this is also, as I said, this is the Sun Festival. And the Sun Festival has certain things that happen, or the Sun Parade. Okay. So there are two traditions this place doesn't engage in. The rest all happen. A huge parade through the streets, streamers and banners, the election of the Bloom Queen, gifts of fake golden keys, ritual face painting, wreaths of flowers, and beautiful dresses.
I'm pretty sure if this is basically New Orleans, we have to have a parade and we have to have face painting.
So yeah. I would say that one of the ones that you shouldn't do is streamers and banners, just because it's a port city and cleanup would be awful. Very impractical.
Yeah. One bad wind and the
yet
Delta's
to stop
full of everything.
Any city.
He's not wrong.
Ever.
This can be the first. It's a fantasy city.
Hashtag right. We'll make it happen.
That's fair.
Love it.
Just in case this helps you, one thing to note, during the Sun Parade, everyone can always get a token whenever you help out with the festivities. Spend a token to find a pretty dress, trinket, or new friend, and cool off in the shade.
Okay, so no streamers. We have to pick two, right?
Two that aren't celebrated here. And that's the important thing. If we did a long campaign and got back around to this, somewhere else might celebrate it differently.
Sure. Does Bloom Queen make sense?
Yeah, I'm thinking that's probably not a thing in a port city.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Cool. So the rest all happen. The parade, the gifts of fake golden keys, face painting, wreaths of flowers, and beautiful dresses. Awesome.
Archibald is going to do something with that golden keys thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and this is going to probably be a little bit of a callback to Bertrand, but I don't care. He's going to find like the poor neighborhood, and instead of giving out fake golden keys, he is going to give out real ones and not tell anybody.
Okay. Interesting.
Does that count as helping with the festivities then?
I'm picturing they're not very big. Like, they're like the size of a modern house key, these things, but solid gold.
Where is he getting them?
He's probably going to go purchase them from a local metalsmith, just to kind of maximize the positive impact to the local economy.
Okay. Tell me about that metalsmith.
Big old badger. This is a goldsmith, right? So you'd expect like this, really fine quality work. And he can do that. And he does do that. But he's this big old, like broad-shouldered, chuffing, kind of badger.
Mm-hmm.
In like this nice, kind of embroidered waistcoat and stuff. It's very incongruous looking. He's got the little spectacles, but he just like towers over everybody. So he goes in and he says that like the ritual or the celebration is to give fake ones, but he's got some friends that he wants to give real ones to, and he's willing to pay to have them made. And he goes back and forth a little bit with the badger and gets a fair price for it. And he gets his 4 keys and, off he goes.
Sure. Let me throw out something, and you can shoot this down or not.
Okay.
I'm going to suggest that maybe he's busy. There's a backlog, because you're not the only person with this idea. It's the sort of thing that it's like kind of a thing that certain very wealthy families do in the city. And that he's racing to keep on top of demand here.
Okay.
Does that work for you?
Yeah. I kind of like the implication there that this is not a novel type of generosity.
Okay.
So
yeah, and that it's maybe something that you're joining into, as I like that.
Yeah.
It may lead to complications of people thinking that you are more than just a simple merchant, which is also fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I'll only be here for a few weeks, so whatever.
Right. So I'm going to say that he is frantic, crafty, just because crafty's as close as I can get here, but also go with honest. He's a very honest person. He's certainly not going to try and cheat you or anything. Cool. Just jot down a name if you can think of one at some point, and we'll go from there.
Let's see here.
I tell you what, we are coming up on time. Why don't we wrap up here? And like I said, next session, what I'd like to do is do sort of a round robin. Let everybody say, this is the scene that I want here. And then we can kind of build off of that. But we can invite other people into the scene. And it may not even necessarily be a scene with your character. It might be, I'd really like to see a scene between Marion and Archibald. I'd like to see how Bria and Sunny interact, something like that. And I'm introducing Sunny here. We'll bring Sunny in as we go. This is somebody you know in the city. That's fine. But yeah, just have that in there. I'd like to do that. Since we have, I think, a few more minutes, let me do a quick round robin. Anything that you guys want to add, just in terms of feedback on the game? Because so far I've been really enjoying this, and I think you guys are really settling into it very well. Any feedback that you guys have to improve things, either for yourselves or the group or anything like that?
I think settling into it more is a good way of putting it. I think we're more comfortable than we were session 1 with kind of how this functions.
I don't really have any recommendations. I feel like it flowed so much better this time.
Session 1, I think, felt, for me, it felt a little awkward because it's not the kind of systems we're used to, and there's not I can't just fall back on a stack of mechanics.
Right.
And so I think that takes a little getting used to, but
it takes some getting used to for me too. Trust me.
Yeah.
I can't be like, roll a perception check.
Dice thing.
Yeah.
The dice. Are there no dice? Why are there no dice?
Are there no dice?
I will say, Ryan, I think you've been handling it particularly well, with Bria being a character with some emotional vulnerability, and I think playing that out has been really just fun is not the right word, really rewarding to see.
I think rewarding's very
it was
good. It's
unexpected,
nice,
but yeah, that was kind of cool actually.
Yeah,
I don't know what I was anticipating, but it wasn't that. But that's not a bad thing.
But that's exactly the kind of scene that these sort of games are designed to bring out.
Right.
Where there's emotion and drama and characters who need something emotionally.
Sure.
And sometimes that is at odds. And there's, how do we satisfy these emotions that we're trying to resolve?
When we first started talking about doing this and you brought up Wanderhome, I looked at it as, we're going to play Animal Crossing now. And that's not this. This could
Greg
be
did
this
not
if you
come
wanted
here
to
play Animal Crossing.
No, Greg did not come here to play Animal Crossing.
He didn't.
Greg came here to play if folks know what a Kaizo is, it's kind of a Pokemon remake that are just like ostensibly intentionally like 7 times harder than a Pokemon game is.
Technically came from Super Mario.
Is that where they started
first?
Okay, yeah. So
it's insanely difficult.
Greg has turned this into a Kaizo family game.
Yes,
but it's been interesting.
As if I wasn't there the whole way going, yes. Push. No, but I'm glad you're getting into it. And I think it is worth noting that we're having emotional scenes and scenes that have some drama to them without a whole lot of like unpleasantness.
When there's a difference between dark and City on a Hill dark, and
sure,
that's still fine.
But I'm even talking about like the scene you last session with you and with Bria and Lizette, where it's like there's conflict and it's playing out, but no one is like unmoving.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody's trying to get that resolved, and I think there's value in that, and it makes for a good scene.
When I picked, because somewhere in the Firelight playbook, there's something about the rebellion, and it's super vague. You referenced it when we started, kind of that war that happens before the game that takes place. And right. Last session, I unintentionally sort of made Bria a veteran with some form of PTSD. Mm-hmm. That was not intentional, but...
Well, the setting makes it vague. Play brings that into focus.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the purpose of it.
And you might, I don't even know if you consider yourself this, Ryan, but I think you're a good enough actor and improviser to yes and your way through it too.
Yeah.
Not on purpose, but it seems to work. So
no, you've improved enormously since we've started playing together.
I appreciate that.
I think that has, that really showed the last session and this session too.
Sorry about that, guys. I had a brief internet blip there.
Oh, no, you're
okay.
good.
Welcome back.
Daniel knows where my acting started. We started doing it at the same time in this literal same classroom. And so
it's true.
Our first, my first ever fight was a fake 4th grade bar fight with Daniel.
There you go.
And it was a good time.
Wish I could say the same.
And then 2 months later, I hit him in the head with a 2x4. That was not fake. And I'm still sorry.
No, that one wasn't fake. That was right out of Three Stooges. We heard
really
that construction and
pick up.
He was holding it on his
swing
shoulder.
10-foot, but 2x4.
turned
Clock
left.
Daniel
I
on the
was
head.
behind him, and
Wham.
Oh yeah,
it's okay. I only have a little bit of drain blamage.
No.
fair enough. Greg, any feedback on the game? Anything that you'd like to see? Anything that you have enjoyed? Not just from me as the more GM than I wanted to be this session, but GM. But from anyone else, including yourself, even.
I really like it overall. Some of the groups I play in, we don't do very heavily on the RP, and some of that goes for other City on a Hill games.
You're not wrong.
Versus this game where that's all there is.
Mm-hmm.
It takes that void and takes everything else away and only fills that.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
and-
you get to scratch that itch.
I don't know how to do this without the shiny math rocks, and this just forces me to put the shiny math rocks somewhere else, and I'm not allowed to touch them. It's like I'm 6, and just like the toy's been taken away from me, so I just have to figure it out now.
That's
Yeah,
why you need a
it's-
fidget shelf.
I actually just need to find my fidget spinner.
Yeah,
there you go.
it's good exercise. But I would say for me, one thing I would like, and I can't even say that this is up to any GM really. It's kind of something I'm gonna have to figure out, I suppose. Is I don't know where I want Marion to go, or what I want Marion to do.
Mm-hmm.
Feels a little unanchored as a character.
Sure.
Well, but then part of
But
that
again,
is the
that's not-
playbook
Well, yeah,
on some
that-
level,
I mean,
and you've
that's-
done a good job of leaning into that.
Yeah, that's kind of the nature, but I don't right now. I don't feel like Marion has an arc, but I think I fear that that's more of a thing that I'm going to have to figure out through play and just organically making it happen.
Well, I'm hoping next session we can do a little bit of that, because it will be okay. What scene is Marion in?
Yeah,
Like, what is
yeah, I
Marion
think-
doing
Right.
here? And
Yeah,
you're talking about them being sort of directionless narratively. I think that's valid, but it may be that you can start with Marion's sort of got a goal but no direction on how to get there. So
yeah. I think
That's a
something
character
I'm also
trait.
gonna have to think about. It's
So-
also like because I missed the second session, so
yeah,
I was
that
like
hurts.
coming in of like I have no idea where I'm at.
yeah, and especially with
But-
our recording schedule, that's a big break.
Yeah,
So
I feel like I landed the plane okay, but
Oh,
yeah,
you did
I'm
great.
coming in blind.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Absolutely.
none of us had a huge direction until midway through session 0. Greg decided my character was adopting a 6-year-old, and then I
That's
was
true.
handed a direction.
Well, but that's the beauty of this sort of thing. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm doing what now?
What now?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's-
here we go.
That does break the rules of improv, but in like a good way for RP.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
like,
and I think this
I
system
guess,
requires it a little bit.
Yeah.
well, I'm very much looking forward to, for example, Sonny constantly trying to get Pebble to dance with him, and Pebble coming up with progressively more
No.
ridiculous
Oh,
excuses
I'm gonna-
for why that
no.
can't happen.
Oh,
No,
So-
but I
Oh.
sprained my flipper, and he has to spend the rest of the episode like
Limping around, you were
Like
with it in the
limping
cast.
around.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah,
Well, I'm
you take
looking
those things
forward-
and run with them.
I am looking forward to Pebble meeting Sunny and like being like, "Oh, hi, Sunny, how are you?" And you having no idea.
with this small child
Oh,
is.
strange child who knows my name. How
who's
are
this
you?
strange
Yeah,
child
exactly.
with oddly vacant eyes and a haunted expression sometimes.
That's right. Yeah, no, I think that's valid. That's something that we can certainly focus on, or at least try and bring to the forefront next session. That is actually valid feedback of this is something you want to see, and we can make opportunities for that. Peter, any feedback here? Not quite stars and wishes level, but just
Yeah,
anything you're wanting to see going on here.
I have a little bit of a concern actually, and it's that because I am very comfortable improvising and I can do it quickly, that I'm dominating a little bit too much.
Yeah, I feel like I'm doing the same thing on some level because I tend to just insert myself, like I just did literally into this sentence, just insert myself randomly.
I think we're actually all getting a lot better at being able to kind of feel out where the moments are. I know that one thing that I do is I was trying in Marion's head, I was like, where can I interact with, say, Pebble? It's kind of why I did the don't touch the mini fridge kind of thing, because it's like, what kind of role will Marion have with the other characters? But also, your character's just on account of being more gregarious is going to just be able to start interactions more. I think it fits. I don't think it's domineering. And I think worrying about, wanting to share the spotlight is just a healthy place to start anyway.
It is. I will also say, I think you are quick to jump on descriptions and world building stuff. You do and that's perfectly fine. If you want to say, oh, let me leave some room for other people to go first as a conscious thing, sure. If you feel like you're jumping in a little too much on that,
well, I think
that's fine. But I will say in role playing, you're doing a really, really good job of restraining yourself. You're not jumping in on scenes where Archibald maybe doesn't have much to add or that sort of thing. Like, you're really letting other people's characters have those moments in a really, really good way.
Okay.
I would
good to know.
almost actually say, I want to see Archibald do more role playing with other characters, because there's a lot of description and independent stuff and not a lot of, I'm going to do this with Marion, with Pebble, with Bria.
Well, that's kind of why, like, when we got here, I was like, okay, like, what's going to make the most sense for him to do with somebody else? And like, there's a child here. This is like the biggest cultural place ever.
Sure.
You are coming with me.
You have an entire festival in an entire city to entertain a child with.
Yeah.
Well, for Grant's sake, I think we need a party face, and neither mine nor Daniel's characters are that. And
yes,
I don't know that we should be following the absolute directions of a 6-year-old with a lot of adventurous spirit. That maybe is a different campaign.
Yeah.
So I think the character you made lends itself well to being like an actual in-game direction for things to happen.
Yeah. So I would say, if that's a concern, just make sure you're getting other people involved instead of like the last thing, which I think was very cool with like the Golden Keys, for example. It's a thing that Archibald's doing, but there's none of the other characters are involved in that, right? Let's find a way to bring that in. I think that's the only thing that would really be necessary there, and then you're in a great spot.
By the way, the Badger's name is Carl.
Excellent.
Carl.
Somehow that is extremely fitting, and I feel like that's a reference, but I cannot remember it off the.
Not to consciously, anyways. It was just like, what's a good name for a big old?
Feels like a llama that should have some type of headwear.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels like that's a thing.
Carl, I don't know. I feel like
the llama memes. Yeah, that's
llamas
Carl
with hats.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I call him Carl.
Carl.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that was a deep cut.
Yeah.
I didn't even entirely get it, so that's fine. It's not unusual.
I've had one instance of exposure to this from an old coworker.
Yeah, so. That's ancient memes from the ancient days.
That's the old magic.
He says, knowing that he has inflicted badger on his children multiple times.
Mushroom. Sorry.
Snake.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you need to look at the second character.
Slim. It's a snake. Excellent. All right. Well, awesome. This is good feedback, and I think hopefully filled up a little time, but also it's good to have this stuff, especially as we're getting close to the end of Wanderhome. Bryan, we think we probably have two more sessions?
I would think at least 2. Yeah. I'm still feeling out the next thing, but
cool.
2 more should give us plenty of room.
Excellent. Yeah. And that'll give us room to have a festival and then move on to the next thing and use some of those new moves, which is always fun. Cool. Well, Ryan, I did the intro. I'm going to make you do the outro.
Okay. Thank you so much for listening. You can find us some new places. We use our Instagram now. Sometimes we use our Twitter still, I guess. We have a Facebook page, City on the Hill Gaming on Facebook. You can now find us on YouTube/YouTube Music Podcasts. The entire backlog is there. It is not ostensibly exactly in order, but that's an issue with the RSS feed, not with YouTube. That not their problem. Ryan just don't know how to fix it. At some point some months ago, I realized like the first 7 episodes of City on the Hill just weren't in our RSS feed anymore. So I re-uploaded them, but with like modern dates, and I should probably fix that. Beside the point, you can still listen to everything. More new stuff upcoming as part of our Lamplighters Guild work as we kind of just expand City and the things we are doing. So we'll be looking more into that over the next coming months and beyond. There's going to be a logo. Someone's working on a logo. We will have a logo for that soon. Maybe by the time this is out, actually, because we're recording this in April, and I'm fairly certain you're not going to hear this till late May or early June, probably. Unless we change the schedule some, which we are going to be. So hopefully you'll be hearing things more often from us. City on a Hill Gaming as cityonahillgaming.com as always, and cityonahillgaming@gmail.com. Greg, say bye.
Bye.
Daniel, say bye.
Who?
Peter.
Bye.
And Grant.
Adieu.
And as always, thank you so much for listening, and have a blessed day. Thanks for listening to City on a Hill Gaming. If you'd like to know more, find us online at cityonahillgaming.com or by sending us an email at cityonahillgaming@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter at cityonahillgame or find us online at patreon.com/cityonahillgaming. Thanks as always to our Patreon backers, Grizzly Rich, Bryan, Sir Lord Epic Name, Andrew, Christina, and Tony. We really thank you guys for everything you do to support the show, and we truly appreciate you. Thanks for listening, and have a blessed day.